Younger people, what's your advice for older folks? Really like this question prompt. As a millennial in my early 30s, I feel like I'm beginning to cross the line between younger and older folks, and I can appreciate both old wisdom and novel thinking. Just as younger people shouldn't immediately discount the advice of older adults, who have more life experience and have had more time to reflect on decisions they've made and actions they've taken. Older people shouldn't immediately discount ideas from younger people who have yet to submit to the status quo. In fact, this is what enables progress. We all have something to contribute. Shut up and listen. I think the same way. I like the way you explained it too. Software are designed for dummies. You won't break anything. Don't be afraid to experiment and learn. Sincerely, your son. However, websites are not, so don't go clicking on those one weird trick that doctors hate ads. Try to remember some of the advice you gave your kids, who are now in their 30s and 40s, about the internet in the 90s, about how you shouldn't believe anything that people on the internet tells you, and that you shouldn't trust anyone from the internet. Now apply that to Facebook as well as cable news. Yeah, I really still can't believe how quickly some people went from always take everything with a grain of salt to child-eating Satanists secretly rule the world and we need Trump to save us because some guy named Q said so on the internet. I don't know what boomer needs to hear this, but, as a millennial, we're all adults now. Like, it blows my mind society as a whole seems to paint us as these forever 20s who just binge a drink, hoard avocados and swipe right. Like I'm nearly 40, and my entire generation came into adulthood in a post 9/11 world, with dot-com busts and a crashing housing market, and crippling student loans. Every single time I feel I might be standing on solid ground, something comes along to knock us on our butt. The vast majority of us are trying our best, but we feel like we're drowning, and instead of throwing us a life ring, you just point and mock us. I think boomers got used to the term applying to people in their early mid-20s, and that's what it still means to them, even though it's a whole different generation now. Not that these generations really mean anything. When I was young, I always hated older people who were dismissive of new culture. That's not music. You like that TV show? As I'm now 40, I can state, it's not that hard to stay up on culture. It's not that hard to adapt and find things to like in the new youth culture. See, I'm the opposite. I'm realizing that just because something is new doesn't mean it doesn't suck. And maybe old people are actually right about a lot of new things being freaking terrible. If you base your political stances on frick your feelings, don't act surprised if later, when the other guys are in charge, they tell you frick your feelings right back. I wish kids would understand this. They think they're so incredibly smart with all their authoritarianism, not realizing democracy isn't here because it's great, it's because everything else is awful. I know that we must seem really freaking weird to you. It's because we are. We have no money, and we've basically had access to everyone in the world's inner thoughts since we were like 10. Keeping touch with reality is daily battle that we lose at least half the time. But, if you want, we can show you some real fricked up crap online. So, let me know if you ever get interested in that sort of thing. I remember the first time I showed my mom rotten.com back in 1997. She nearly threw our big beige computer out the window. It's only natural to want to see people younger than you pursue a similar life as you, but please don't be disappointed angry if they don't. I feel like there is a story behind this comment. Get off Facebook. Your kids are only posting pictures of your grandkids on there because they want to break up the political BS in your timeline. If you get off it, they'll still send those pictures and everything will be better. Turning off your computer TV does not take more power than leaving it on. That's a gas engine you're thinking of. It takes 3 seconds flat to turn on a TV. You don't need to leave it on for all of dinner because you were using it and you were going to use it after. I am so sick of turning off the TV in the living room then hearing my dad say, "Hey, I was using that while he is literally 2 rooms over eating dinner." TBF, I am young and my computer is always on. I just don't like turning it back on and opening up all my crap again. 1. It's okay if you don't know something. You can lower down your ego and ask. 2. Stop thinking you're so great and everyone else is shite. It's super annoying. For point number 2, it's kinda the opposite for me. I think I'm crap and everyone else is good. I'm 15 so I'm young, aha. Although we listen, appreciate and respect your experience and wisdom, please try to understand that we belong to a different generation and can't stay tethered to your old ways. This is partially true. We felt that way about people older than us too. Getting older does show you a bigger portion of advice was dated. A bigger portion of wisdom is lasting. Just because we're younger doesn't mean our points or opinions don't matter. The amount of times I've made a great point and had it shot down because I'm the adult, you're the child is irritating. Just like having an argument with parents. You're never too old to learn or grow. You only lose touch and fail to keep up with the times because you allow yourself to. Be more open-minded. Learn how to adapt with modern times. Be open to new opinions and experiences because the world will not stay the same as before. Sincerely, a gay Gen Z kid who's sadly not accepted by parents as queer, lol. We're not you. We weren't born and raised in the same way you were, and for good reason. Yeah, technology makes our lives easier, but you should take advantage of that too. Don't be afraid of change. Be afraid of not changing. I could be considered an early millennial, since I'm a solid gamer. I had an Atari 2600 when I was in kindergarten, and a Nintendo Entertainment System in 3rd grade. I watched the industry evolve though my entire life. These days, I cause problems for opposing teams when I play Team Deathmatch on Call of Duty, and I'm very hated because I learned to use claymores when people chase me. I'm tech savvy and socially liberal because I don't care about other people's lives, and you can live however you want. Just don't bug me is how I feel about it. I was born in 1978, which is only 2 years outside the bounds of what most people consider a millennial. Some people say I'm a Gen Zer. I'm probably a nice blend of both, but I find that millennials are usually my people. I think that's about when the break between generations started. People earlier than this only knew television and radio, but I was the first generation that didn't watch television. Instead, I played with television. Instead of just turn on and watch, we were engaged in action on the TV screen ourselves. This makes us different in ways that are not yet understood, but evidence that gamers are better drivers is starting to emerge. I remember many times that I had close calls while driving that would have been much worse if I had not reacted the way I did. This is something that gaming trains people to do with hand-eye coordination. You don't get to respawn if you frick up when you're driving unless you believe in reincarnation, or your Doctor Who. My advice to older people is to not dismiss questions that kids ask, and if they make a statement that you disagree with, instead of dismissing it, you should ask them to explain it and ask questions about it, instead of flying off the handle in a fit of rage. Despite the flaws of the founders, the Declaration of Independence remains a declaration of the rights of all mankind, regardless of who you are or what you believe. It has expanded to include people of all races, colors, creed, and honestly, what's written in the Declaration of Independence is probably more important than the freaking Bible. That's how big of a deal it is. No one is in a better position to decide how to pursue happiness than yourself. So, I would encourage people of all ages to just pursue their passion instead of trying to meet someone else's expectations. Listen and dispense wisdom. Don't lecture. Remember, hate is always foolish, and love is always wise. Always try to be nice, but never fail to be kind. Run fast. Laugh hard. Be kind. Was that Doctor Who before he died? Anyway, the millennials don't want to listen to somebody that's an insufferable know-it-all, so maybe you boomers need to alter your approach. Just a thought. A very long thought. Thank you to the OP for making me think. Also thank you for the well thought out comment. Throwing up your hands and saying I don't know is not an answer to technology problems. Technology isn't going away, and eventually people will stop taking pity on you and helping you with soul-wrenchingly basic tasks. It's a skill like everything else. I promise you aren't too old to learn. Don't give up or let society push you in a corner. Play video games, board games, whatever to keep your mind active and know that some of us listen and care. Stop voting for things that suit your needs only. Think of the younger generations. We're the ones that will have to deal with the consequences. Yes. Exercise more. Think with the advent of technology, exercising and fitness has risen in popularity among the younger generations than previously. Proper exercise will help you last much longer and feeling happier and healthier. As someone who works closely with older folks, I've noticed that 10 times people who actually keep an active physical routine look much more in better shape than those who don't. Keep an open mind about things you hear or see. So many snake oils, fake news, scams, etc. done in modern fashion. We were all young once and had to learn things. So especially at work, don't treat the new guy just out of school like crap because he doesn't know the job you've been doing for 15 years. The amount of times at work elder people or even people my age question why I get better responses from the young ones that are new. Because I treat them like human beings and don't expect them to do something I'm not prepared to do myself. Learn some modern slang words so you know when the Yao Jones. 811. Try to insult you. If you say that you know what a certain word means, they will probably get a merry staff, which is beautiful. Make an effort to engage with younger folks. Yeah, we have less life experience, but that doesn't make our experiences irrelevant or our perspectives foolish, especially with how technology has dramatically impacted our social experiences. Instead of beating us back with a stick, keep an open mind. If you do that, honestly, most of us won't bite. Recognize when you can't take care of yourself anymore and demand around-the-clock nursing care. There's no sense in staying at home when every time you walk to the kitchen there's a 30% chance you'll fall and break a hip. That'll be the end of you. Nursing homes suck, but it beats dying on the floor alone after 3 days. Here's my advice as a boomer to the young ones. Just enjoy your life as best you can. It goes by so freaking fast. Soon you'll be my age. But you can't have regrets, either. In the end, what will be will be. The help button is there for a reason. If you're tired of hearing restart the computer from me, maybe do it before bothering me. When you lie about restarting the computer, I can tell. It tracks uptime since last reboot. Not caring about the things you care about doesn't mean I am against them. It just means I do not care. I respect you guys a lot. Life is hard when you grow up regardless of what time period. The struggles are just different in the times, so while what we struggle with might not be what you dealt with, it's still nice and easy. And I'd ask that while you man not understand our challenges that you respect them. That's all. Have a great day. Get off social media. Reality has enough problems of its own for you to be creating entirely unstable realities of your own. And be more like Jesus, not a C. Honestly, this is good advice for everyone. Go retire and enjoy your life if you have enough to do so. Stop working for another year to get the extra retirement add-on that you don't need. If you're scared of retirement, you can always go do that thing you've always wanted to do your entire life. Boomers were the first and last generation to ever get retirement. The OG retirement age was 65, but the average life expectancy was 65. Boomers lived longer and so they had the first retirement in the history of the world. And because they spent it all on bulls and got fat and happy on social security, we will have to work till the day we die to pay for their 20-year retirement. Most of us are actually capable of having reasonable conversations and can agree to disagree. Just because we have different viewpoints than you doesn't mean it's okay to belittle, argue in an attempt to change our minds or the way we think. We're not wrong to think about the world the way we do. We just think differently. It's usually because we've lived in a different time period or have had different factors contributing to our personal growth. People don't choose when they are born and can't help the system, family, community they were born into. They can only do their best to shape themselves in the world around them. The world is changing faster and faster with each passing year. Keep that in mind when you dish out wisdom and advice. I remember seeing a National Geographic trivia commercial that said, the top 10 most in-demand jobs of 2010 did not exist in 2004. 1. We can't buy houses as easily as you cause the economy has changed. Applying for loans is harder than before and it costs nearly $1 million to buy a decent sized house apartment. Getting stuck with a 30-year loan for an apartment that can only fit 3 people is not a good idea. 2. Living cost is ridiculous and salary increment is slow as frick, so no marriage and starting a family is hard. We can't get married at 16 like you did and have multiple children and still be able to make it. That's just asking to be fricked over. 3. Degree. Working experience and age is a factor in looking for work. We can't just walk into a company and ask for an interview like you did. They'll see your resume before even thinking about seeing you. 4. Computer and internet is our way of life now. 5. Is about who you know, not what you know. Plus there are more rules and regulations that restricts us. It was your generation that exploited the frick out of everything and causes us to be restricted as frick. 6. We don't want to work until our death. Notice when the teens are sad, listen to their problems. Be the person they want to turn to when they need help. It might just save their life. Let go of whatever anxiety or pride or perspective on life that caused your children to burn a bridge with you. You're going to die sooner than you think, and all you'll have to take to your grave is some bull's belief or image you tried to keep up for so long. At your funeral, they might even be relieved. Freaking apologize. Admit you were wrong. Please just try to understand how fricked our generation is. Our futures look dire. The least you could do is acknowledge it. Why was it okay for you guys to play with your friends till 11 AM and not call your parents till 1 AM? And you get upset at us for not texting you back when it's been 1 minute? Let us live our life. You were a kid once too. Let us party like you did. Please always try and be good to your body as best you can. Stay active even if it's walking. Please drink water. Don't give in to giving up. I see people with broken and broke down bodies daily. I treat them, and it's soul crushing. It's hard to watch people whose bodies have rebels against them either by sickness and disease out of our control or just by neglect. Please be kind to yourselves in your older age. It makes a huge difference. If you have something to say, say it. There's a good chance you can relate with being descriptive or deceptively vague, but whatever you do, say it. I think this generation needs to hear from all y'all more than any other generation ever. Anything close to something you think you should say, just say it. Heck, if you're embarrassed, they might not even have heard it the first time with all of their entertaining things. A healthy looking person doesn't automatically mean they don't have health problems. A young healthy looking person can have debilitating back leg problems. Disabilities don't need to be obvious or visible to exist. Them walking fine today doesn't negate their walking disabilities. Today they be able to walk through the store just fine. Tomorrow could be another fine day. It could be another week before they have a flare up where they need a wheelchair or need to sit down often. It does not mean they're faking it. I am 20 years old. I would say, talk to younger people if you have the chance, and the other way around. My co-workers' ages range from 18 to 60 plus, and I get along way better with the older co-workers. Just talking about everything and understanding their view on stuff from both sides. And just because someone is just in his 20s or younger doesn't mean they can't contribute to stuff or with ideas. Yeah, don't treat employees like dog crap because you can't figure out self-checkout. It's one thing to not know and ask for help. We all need help with stuff. But every single day I see our poor register workers getting cussed at by old farts who think their inability to figure out something that is in all reality simple as heck is an excuse to take out frustrations on a person who didn't make the choice to have them. INB4. Not easy cuss old. It's literally scanning an item, hitting a single button that says pay, and then either inserting money like a vending machine that existed in their day and age, or a card just like you would any other pay center. The screens are big and so is the pay button, and if you still want to argue that hard, I'd argue if it's hard for you to do it and you absolutely require someone to scan things for you, maybe it's time to stop bitching when those people ask for a livable pay. Don't feel guilty spending money on things that are purely for enjoyment. Treat yourself sometimes. My parents and a number of my friends' parents have this mentality that spending money on fun stuff is frivolous, and they will refuse to buy themselves nice things even though they have tons of money. My dad played my VR headset and said it was the coolest thing he had ever done. He has liked video games since the Atari, but he wouldn't spend the $300 to buy himself one because it was not necessary despite having way more money than me. I gave him mine as a hand-me-down when I bought a new one and he said it's the nicest gift he's ever received and he uses it all the time. I just want him to allow himself these small joys in life. I respect everyone the same, and the respect I have for older people isn't earned based on their age. Older people can't be disrespectful to me just because I'm younger and I'm supposed to respect them. It just doesn't work like that. It's a two-way thing. Mistakes are normal for teens. The world doesn't revolve around anyone, and things change over time. It's normal, but maybe you shouldn't have destroyed the world so we could live without all the problems of an average teen young adult. 19-year-old here, 20 in December, and all I really got is just I think the culture right now is for old people to dislike youngins and young people to dislike old people. You know, the whole these dang millennials and their phones versus the okay boomer type, and all I really got to say is that as a young person I can 100% say we are not out to get any old people. There's no bad blood with most of my generation, just the really loud minority that likes to try and start fights with older people. But yeah, I think just knowing we aren't out to get you just like y'all aren't out to get us, we can learn from y'all and y'all can learn from us. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.